everybody. I'm going to be laughing at this now. Kerry and Lindsay Lichty. I keep saying Lichter. Lichty, they're a mother and daughter team up in Highlands Ranch, Colorado. They did 45 deals last year, 30 million in volume. A lot of good things to share. It's going to be good. So stick around. Here we go. Yeah. So yesterday I'm posting this on Facebook, and it in my typo, my autocorrect put Lichter, and you guys called me and pointed it out. I'm like, oh shoot, because I know it's Lichty, but now I keep calling you Lichter. It's the Lichter girls.
Everybody gets our last name wrong. We've been called worse. Yes.
Yeah. I hear. Well, thanks for your time. I know you guys are super busy up there in Denver. How's business been? Good?
It's crazy.
Right? Yeah, crazy.
Very crazy. The market that we're living in right now is definitely one that is extremely different from anything we've experienced before. Last year was crazy, and it feels like this year's already going to be even crazier.
Yeah, for sure. Kerry, you've been doing this how long? 21 years? Is that right?
Yeah.
21 years? Tell your story a little bit. How, your whole journey with real estate. How'd you get into real estate? Talk about it.
We moved to Highlands Ranch in 1999, and the kids were little. So, we had Brandon, and I think he was 7, and Jocelyn was 1. So I wanted, real estate was something I had thought about, something I thought I might like to get into. So I went to like an informational event back in the day with Frontier GMAC, for anybody that was been around long enough to remember who they were. And just like was so excited about the opportunity. So I did the school, it took me like 3 weeks to get my license. I was just like super motivated, like I'm just doing this. And so it was just a great thing, to do when the kids were little. And it's definitely still, after 21 years, my passion. I mean, I just absolutely love what I do. I love helping people. I'm a people person. It's a people business. I love being around people and, helping them accomplish their real estate dreams. So that is a lot of fun for me. Still love it.
For sure. Definitely. And so, Lindsay, how long have you been doing it?
I just had my 6-year anniversary, so I've been doing it for 6 years, and Kerry is the reason I got into it. When I got married to my husband, Brandon, her son, I was in college going to school for something completely different, and she was like, come check this out. Like, I think you might like it. And I was like, I don't know, but I guess I'll go. And then I did, and I got extremely hooked on it. I fell in love with it, and it is also my passion. Brandon and I started our family young. We've done everything young. We got married young, had kiddos young, bought our first house young. So going through our first home buying process when we were super young has really helped me connect with first-time home buyers. I have a lot of first-time home buyers in my sphere, and I just have a passion because I have so many friends, and I mean, people who aren't even just first-time home buyers that just feel like, especially in this market, that real estate is not something they can even think about because they feel hopeless with what's going on. And I love nothing more than being able to hand keys over at the closing table. It's absolutely been amazing, and I've been able to do it while having both of my daughters with me for the last few years. And now they're both finally starting to be in activities and school and doing all those things. So now I get to go full force, and I am so excited because it's just so much fun, especially to be able to do it with my mother-in-law.
Yeah,
sure.
We actually have a lot of fun together, and people always act surprised because we're actually mother-in-law, daughter-in-law.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're together all the time.
Yeah, people ask us all the time. They're like, "Do you secretly hate each other?" And we're like, "No, we don't.
We actually have a lot of fun together.
Really well,
so.
and we just decided as of the first of this year to expand our team. So now we're the Platinum Home Group. We've got a few agents we've brought on, and we're just, looking forward to the future of our group of people. Making some big impact on the real estate market in Denver.
Sure. How big is your team up there?
So right now we're at 4, and we've brought on Charlotte Katita and Trina Oilo, and they are, amazing women. So we're excited to work with them and partner with them. They are very, very, what do I want to say? Experienced and strong agents as well.
Yeah.
So we all get along really well together. We all kind of have the same vision. We want to help each other. So it's been amazing. Yeah.
Sure. Kerry, go back, 20, 21 years of doing it. You've obviously experienced a lot, the highs and the lows, the ups and the downs. Were you on a team? Were you ever on a team yourself?
I was not. I've never been on a team. I've always just been an individual agent and somehow made it through. I mean, we all know there was some trying times, and for a while when it was all short sales and foreclosures, that was a whole different ballgame then. And so just seeing a lot of the ups and downs, I guess, all that experience helps you prepare for what the day may bring. But I still find every day you're like, wow, that I've never dealt with that before. So there's always something new in real estate for sure. So
for sure. What have been some of your biggest challenges? I mean, can you think of a couple, 2 or 3 to share, just, as far as the business and running the business and, with a family and everything else? It's kind of like you're your own boss, but that's not always good for people,
So. Your own boss. I had somebody ask me one time, they're like, well, do you get benefits? And I said, yeah, I get all the benefits I want, whatever I want to pay myself. If I want to give myself health insurance, then I do. If I want to give myself vacation, then I do. But nobody does it for me. So it's definitely, you're on your own, but it's been great. Like I said, I still absolutely love it. And I think, challenges, even though you have a flexible schedule, is just making sure you're still allowing plenty of time for your family and trying to, because obviously that's priority. So I think that's one of the reasons we work so well together. It's so nice to, we get to spend a lot of time together, even though we're working. And I'm sure that our family I was just thinking last night, they were over here, we were having dinner, and Lindsay and I the entire time are just talking about real estate and deals and what's going on in the market. I think our
writing offers.
Family is probably like, oh my gosh, do you ever stop talking about real estate?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But it's good. It's all good.
Definitely. Yeah. What are some adjustments you guys have had to make just the last few years? It's been and you guys being in Denver, we didn't experience that here in Colorado Springs, really until last couple of years. It seemed like it kind of came south. We heard about Denver 5 years ago, and all of a sudden things, Castle Rock, and now down here, now we're seeing it in Pueblo. It's taken off down there, but it's a hot market down there, as people continue to move south, trying to find the better prices. But what kind of adjustments have you guys had to make in your business the last couple of years, to do the kind of business you're doing?
I think, a big thing is educating our clients and setting expectations for them about what's happening in the market. So that is helpful as well, just being, when we're in it every day, because it changes so rapidly. And so just trying to make sure they understand what's happening. And, it really varies each price point, each neighborhood. I mean, all the price points are getting multiple offers. That's just a given. And I think we've kind of been in a multiple, like you said, we've been in a multiple offer situation for years. So
since
that
I
hasn't
got
really
licensed.
changed.
I mean, since the beginning of me getting licensed, it was crazy, and it's just gotten crazier ever since. And I had so many people that were like, when I got licensed, oh, you're not going to make it because it'll be a year before this all crashes. And I'm like, 6 years later, we're still waiting for that.
Strong.
So, it's just, I think that adjusting our buyers, especially their expectations, is probably the biggest thing that we've probably had to shift, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What's an example of that, though? Can you talk about that? Get specific with that for a second, as far as with the buyers, because I think that's important. We've seen a lot of buyers pull out of the market because they just after it's their 4th or 5th offer they haven't gotten. They're like, forget it, we're just going to rent. How do you keep your buyers engaged and keep them? Yeah. What are some things you guys are doing with that?
I think one of the things, like she was saying, something like trying to educate the buyers is, yes, when those buyers give up and they want to get discouraged because we're saying, hey, if that property is just hitting the market this weekend and all offers are due Sunday, you can probably expect to have to bid 15 to 20% over. You're going to have to offer appraisal gap as high as you possibly can to try to be in the running. We need to, accommodate any kind of rent back. We need to, we're just pulling out everything that we can to try to help them. But when they want to give up, we also remind them that, hey, when this house closes at 15, 20% over, that becomes the new comp. So in 2 months, when the house next door goes on the market, it's now going on at the price you could have closed at. And now you're having to offer even over that, And so just knowing that's where prices are headed, when's the best time to buy a house? Now. Yes. So it's just keeping their head up and
and reminding them too that right now, because of how crazy fast-paced the market is, that even though it is frustrating to get into it, if you can, I think I've had to help my first-time home buyers adjust their thought process. Okay, this is not probably going to be your forever home, but with how much equity you're gaining so quickly, it's a great stepping stone. So I've tried to kind of just shift my buyers from being frustrated to, okay, yes, we're frustrated, but these are the cards we have, so we're going to make the best out of it. And I think that's one thing that Kerry and I both pride ourselves on, is we just try to be really positive about it, because ultimately what's meant to be is going to be. I tell all my clients, if we don't get this one, there's a reason for that. I'm a firm believer in that, regardless of the market conditions. I've experienced it myself personally with our several purchases my husband and I have had. And I think that, just helping them shift their mindset to, there's a reason if you're losing offers, because there's a perfect house out there. It just hasn't come yet. And there's some reason for that. And we know it's frustrating, but we've got your back and it's going to be okay. And just kind of walking through, trying to reset their mind frame, like Kerry said, about this is going to be the new comp for this neighborhood. So you think that's expensive for that. But in a month when it closes, that's going to be what that neighborhood is going to start going for. And then it's going to be 20% over that. So if you do it now, it's better to do it now and fight now than it is in a month or 2 months when it could be even worse. And so, and just trying to get crafty. We've gotten very crafty about, offering things we never used to offer, or, just really, I think education is probably the biggest piece, is just going through the buyers, really what to expect. A lot of buyers used to just be like, oh, I decided on a Saturday I want to go see a house. Now it's we really need to hone in on what that looks like for you before you go look at something, because it's not a super easy process at the moment. It's still totally doable. It's just a little bit harder work than it used to be.
Yeah, and being prepared. I mean, there's even, I've had a couple clients that have gotten, they're super, super strong, but they are doing a loan. They're not cash. And so we just get them as far in that pre-approval process as possible, because I've had a couple that have gotten so far in the process, everything's done. We literally just need a contract and appraisal. So we're able to waive loan termination. So that makes it even hey, this is how strong we are. We don't have to put that. So just one less contingency in the contract that has helped us win offers as well. So.
Yeah.
And I think too, the way that Kerry and I try to communicate with other agents, I think that's huge. I think a lot of buyers, sellers, just the average client doesn't quite understand the relationship that goes behind a transaction and how important it is to create good ones with agents, so that you are able to go in an agent's I've worked with the Platinum Home Group before, and they're phenomenal. That makes such a difference in an offer situation when you're up against 15 other people. So,
right. Yeah. Reputation, for sure. For sure. Kerry, if you could go back in time, Kerry, what anything you would tell yourself, knowing what you know now, you've been doing this a long time.
Yes.
What would you tell yourself going back to, when you were a year in the business? I mean, what would you do differently if you were starting over? Because there's going to be people watching this that just got licensed 2 months ago and they're figuring it all out. You know how it is when you first get started. It's my God, it's all this stuff. What would be something that you would share with yourself? What would you do different?
Sure. I can tell you for sure. When I first started in the business, probably because I wasn't part of a team and I was just individual. I didn't have coaching. I didn't have, anything like that. And the follow-up with Sphere and just people that I know and groups of people, I just didn't really realize how important that was. So, I would help somebody buy a house, we'd close the deal and then kind of lose touch. And I was not good at keeping in touch with them and staying top of mind. And so, a little plug for EXP, but since I've come to EXP, actually, I've gotten so much, information from other agents that are super successful like yourself. Total game changer for me about how to keep in touch with clients and how, what I should be doing and how to reach out to them and how to make sure I'm staying top of mind with them. That has been huge. Like, I can't even tell you. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, oh my gosh, imagine if I would have started that 20 years ago. Like,
yeah.
My goodness, but nobody ever really told me. They're not like, hey, here's what you should be doing. You really need to make sure, you're touching your clients 36 times a year. Make sure you're staying in front of them. Make sure you're communicating with them, call them, text them, invite them to things, whatever. So that's something that we're just really pouring ourselves into now that we, thank you to our EXP agents that we get to collaborate with. That has been amazing.
Game changer. Absolute game changer.
Right. How long have you guys been at EXP?
3 years.
Almost 3 years, right? Yeah. April 1st will be 3 years.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. What? How has it been for you guys? I mean, obviously, it's been good. You're still here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We love it.
We do not plan on ever leaving at this point.
No.
It's been, I think, as a newer agent, obviously I've been doing it for a few now, but still, like Kerry said, that prior to this, I've been blessed to have her to guide me in a lot of ways, but prior to this, there was just so many things that her and I as agents didn't even think about or know to be doing. That, coming to EXP, we just have so many agents just pour into you, like, that you don't even know, that don't know you, don't have any attachment to you, but they're just like, hey, this really worked for me, try it. Like, the resources that we've gotten to grow our businesses. And, last year I had my second daughter and was helping manage both of our husbands' businesses and still manage to sell more houses than I ever have in my career. And I give a huge amount of kudos to EXP and the move that we made. It is extremely helpful. And I think I've watched it grow Kerry's business immensely. She's phenomenal at what she does. And EXP has just blown that up so much. Just the last few years, like, both of us were just so happy. Like, the culture of EXP is just love and positivity and pouring into each other. And those are the kind of people that we are. It's just like, let's work together. We've always been that way. Let's work together to get to the closing table. And now that we're at EXP, we're just surrounded by people who have that same mindset. And it's really helped both of us flourish, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, the collaboration is such a huge part. I think that is something that I have never seen. So, and everybody asks us about culture at EXP because we're 100% cloud-based, but I honestly have done more things with agents at EXP than I've ever done anywhere else. Like, we just see each other a lot. We're encouraging each other. We do events together. We're just doing so many things, and it's so amazing. And so that has been,
and it's fun. Like, we have a good time.
It's fun.
Enjoyable and fun to collaborate with agents like you, Jeff, and just all the amazing agents that we've met that just, there's without question, they just have your back. And that is something that we have experienced as a real estate culture in any other brokerage besides this one.
And I think too, that it's not just real estate that they've helped us with. I mean, it's everything, like family life, home life, spiritual life, and then career life, like everything. It's just been like, wow, it's
like listening to agents that are huge agents like Frank Gove and Clayton Gitz, and just agents that have families. Like, that's one thing that I love to relate to is, like, it's hard to be a realtor in our crazy market with two small children that are young and have activities and things. And my husband runs his own construction business, and our house is crazy. But to be able to look at those realtors that have figured out kind of how to balance those things and have them give me guidelines without me having to pay for it, and them just like wanting to genuinely do that for me when they don't know me, is the best thing.
It's amazing. It's
awesome. Well, and you said collaboration, Kerry, and I think that's been so surprising to me here. I've been here for 4 years, and every company will talk culture and all that, which is, every company has their own culture, but it's just odd to me that we're virtual. But I'm like you, I have more relationships with agents now than I've had in 20 years of doing this.
Absolutely.
And it's just crazy. It's hard to even imagine that. I mean, even this week, we're doing a lunch here tomorrow. We do a lunch every 2 weeks, and and that's just a fun thing to do. Whatever, we're doing a happy hour on Thursday. It's St. Patty's Day, and whatever, it's the third Thursday of the month. It just happens to be that we do one every third Thursday. Just and all agents are welcome to come. We open it up to everybody. It's not an EXP thing. It's just,
Right.
but that collaboration. But of course, everybody's talking and sharing tips and ideas and all this stuff while you're having your drinks and having some laughs. And it's just the culture part of it. Top Golf, we're starting to do some of that stuff, and we are having fun. The very first EXP event I ever went to 4 years ago, and I remember seeing that banner up on the wall. EXP Realty making real estate fun again.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, because it wasn't fun for me at that point. I got to be honest, I was so burnt out at that point.
Right. Right.
That's where I was at, and it's easy to go there in this business.
It
Just the business can just run your life after a while, and you're just at the beck and call of every buyer and seller that calls you, and running all over the place. It can turn into that.
Yes, for
And
sure.
and man, that was a tough time, But man, it's just gotten fun
Yeah.
being here.
It's fun. And I think too, that's something that, at other companies that we've been at, they may do some things for their own agents, but this is like, we're doing agent events, and not to recruit EXP. We're doing agent events to collaborate with other agents and just develop those relationships, because we just found out, especially in this crazy market, how important it is to meet in person with some of these agents, because you never know if you're going to be bringing an offer to their listing, or they're going to be bringing an offer to your listing.
You never know who's going to be on the other side of the closing table.
So valuable. And then just having fun. Let's just have fun. Yes. We're all agents in this together, and let's try to help each other.
Because of the fact that this business can eat you up and spit you out so easily, rubbing elbows with people who are doing things that are working for them and just sharing those things, collaborating together to be more successful. I don't care what brokerage you're at. That is so important. And it wouldn't matter if we ever went to another brokerage, which we won't at this point. But, if we did, it was like, it'd be one of those things, like that's something I won't ever stop at this point, because it has helped grow our business so much to have that resource and have people behind you to always be like, hey, have you tried this? This worked for me. Hey, don't use this lead service because it was horrible. Just all the things that you don't think about that you usually struggle through on your own. And, going to other brokerages, a lot of the time, I've always felt like everybody's there to compete with each other. And the atmosphere with EXP is so different. And I have so many agents that are like, you're cloud-based. That has to be awful. You have no connection with anybody. And I'm like, I'm more connected than I've ever been before. And I used to be at a brick and mortar. So
well, I think it makes a difference when we get ownership in the company.
Yes.
There's a paradigm shift when you care about it in a different way.
Yes.
And we're all working together. Again, I think, the better we all do, the better our brand does, the better our stock does, and we're all owners with the company. And so it just that makes a huge difference over time. People don't understand that. And talk about that for a second, because, I know you guys hit icon status, so explain that to people that don't know what that means,
Icon status, that's a huge thing at companies that have splits, this is the only company that I've seen that is structured this way. So 80-20 split till you cap at 16,000, which is great, because a lot of people don't have a cap at all. And then they just have, your splits based on production and things like that. And then once you cap, selling 20 more houses that year, like if you're a top producer or if you sell a lot of homes, to me, it's a no-brainer to be a DXP, because then you have the opportunity to get that 16,000 back in stock. And beyond that, with the revenue share and other things, like just all the streams of income and stuff that we have. I mean, even I was just adding it up, and even if you're at a company that's a flat fee per transaction, but you do quite a few transactions, you're spending way more. You're giving them way, way more of your money. And I never really looked at it like that. I was looking at the small picture. And when you look at the big picture, like I said, it's a no-brainer. And so, and just having that opportunity. So icon status, you hit that icon, you get that cool trophy over there, which is really awesome. But the most important awesome thing is getting that stock back and seeing your stock, logging into your account and seeing that stock building, and you haven't even purchased any. You just keep getting stock. That's amazing. So that is a huge thing. And, that's the other thing that I love about EXP too, is just how much they encourage you to give back and tell of other agents and things like that. So you're, being icon status, then they do want you to do some things like be a mentor or teach some classes or things like that, and just always incentivizing you to give back to your real estate community, which is amazing too, I think. So I think I've always said that I think EXP has a very much pay it forward kind of attitude, and I love that.
Yes.
So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And that stock is huge. I mean, it's just, I get excited about it. I get in there, all the time, checking it out.
Yeah.
And again, right now, all the stocks, all stocks are down right now. Everything's getting hit and all over the place, the economy. But I just, I'm like, the lower the better. The more we get. I'm not worried about it.
Oh, it's low.
Yeah. I know the group that I'm a part of, we had last year, we had over 100 agents go over $1 million in stock.
Wow.
I mean, literally become millionaires for just doing what they've been doing for their entire careers, running the real estate business. And to add that in on the side as a bonus.
Yeah.
Right.
I was with an agent here. It's been a few months back. I always tell this story because, and she was actually a RE/MAX agent. And she's like, well, what if the stock goes to $1? And I'm like, I guess then I'm a RE/MAX agent. She's like, well, what do you mean? I said, well, how much are they giving you? I'm like, it's just, I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket, but it's a nice bonus to get on the side.
Right.
It's there if I need it. It's a cushion if I need it. If I need to cash some out, I can. My buddy Aaron Ken, he was the first one I showed this to when I joined EXP. And he came over here. He called me about a year ago. His stock hit 1.2 million. He cashed out 1,000 shares, paid off his house, paid off his cars, completely debt free. He's like, look, 19 years in the business, the last 2.5 years here has completely changed our lives. Yeah. Thank you for showing me EXP.
It truly is life changing. And you hear people say that, and it's like, no, I mean, really, it's life changing.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think it's also like I've talked to some agents that, approach it with like, well, what about this? And you have that. And I don't know about that about your brokerage. And to me, it's like, if you don't have a positive attitude, I think it's hard to be at EXP because everybody is positive. Everybody's happy. And it's just one of those things, like if you're not the person who wants to pour into other people or enjoy collaborating with great agents and, utilizing a ton of resources, then maybe it's not great. But for us, it's just been phenomenal. And to have positivity around you, especially, I think if we had been at a different brokerage right now, going through the times we have with COVID, we probably wouldn't have flourished as much as we have. And our business probably wouldn't be at the level that it is because we would have been in a surrounding, with agents that, just all of us are struggling at the same time, where EXP's like, we're going to attack this from the opposite perspective of, okay, this market's tough. How are we going to do it anyways?
Right.
And just being that cloud-based brokerage, it was like when COVID hit, it was like, we got this. We already do everything virtually. And it was just, we didn't skip a beat. So
nothing changed. Business as usual.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Exactly. What are you guys' goals for this year? What do you see yourself doing this year?
No, let's see. I think, personally, my goal is 50. I think as a team, we'd like to do at least 100 transactions.
My goal is 25, but I'm hoping I exceed that many as far as transactions go. So we'll see. But, we're just aiming for as much as we can. And we really do just try to give back, pour into others, and just, we're firm believers that will come back around. And
for sure.
It usually does.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are doing some great things up there. For sure.
Yeah.
And so congratulations on everything you've done, your success, your team that's growing. So, and so guys, if you're up there in Denver, in the Denver area or whatever, reach out to these guys. You want to, do you guys have a website you want to throw out there to anybody or phone numbers, anything you want to give out while we're on here?
We've been pushing our social media really hard. So I would do #Platinum Home Group, and you will find us on Instagram and Facebook.
We just launched a new app, so feel free to search us in the App Store, whether you're a Droid or a Apple user. It's in both of them, and it is awesome and a great tool to connect with us.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, guys, thank you so much. I appreciate your time getting on here. Okay. Definitely. And to all of you guys, seriously, we're doing this a couple times a week, just interviewing agents, whatever. Hit the subscribe button here on YouTube if you're on there. Hit the like, comment on there. If you have questions, reach out to Kerry, Lindsay, myself. We're more than happy to get back to you. But, big things are happening in real estate in general. Crazy times, crazy market, but definitely big things at EXP. So totally appreciate your time again. Have a great rest of your week, guys. Thank you very much. Have a good day. We'll talk to you soon. Okay? Bye.
Bye.